before we get into it here, before I give a much needed channel update, I again want to sincerely thank each and every one of you for your support, your kind words. Just it blows me away because we were able to reach, and I say we because, as I always try to reiterate, I can't do this alone. Like without you all, I'm just a guy rambling on about UCO football, right? Like, so I mean, it really wouldn't be as special, wouldn't be as meaningful if it weren't for you all support, and I greatly, greatly do appreciate that. We hit a huge milestone over here on the channel. We have reached triple digit subscribers now. We're at 100. It might be more since time of recording. I just appreciate each and every one of the 100. Just know you all mean the world to me. You're the reason why I keep doing what I'm doing. I get asked a lot, Smooth, why don't you cover OU? Smooth, why don't you cover OSU? Smooth, it's Division II football. No one cares. And this just goes to show people do care. I was looking at some of the numbers. We have a few videos over 1,000 views. The vast majority over 100, something like 200, 300. So clearly people do care about UCL. Clearly people do care about a Division II football program. And like I said before, it just only gives me more fuel to the fire to continue doing what we're doing over here. So again, I just can't thank you all enough. And I have big things in store, hope to have in store. So I want to go ahead and get into that here. So first, I know it's been quiet over here compared to this time last year, which makes us reaching that milestone even more impressive. To be honest with you, so there's just a few things, a few reasons here why. Number one, I had more time last year. You recall last year, this time I was working for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Most of those times I was able to work the games, which means I had most of the day free and most nights after the game free. I was able to do a lot more content. I was more flexible during the day, which allowed me to be able to interview more players, more coaches during that time, just because I had the availability. I now do not work for Thunder anymore. I have a regular 9 to 5 with Paycom. And so that has limited some of the time frame. Is now, if I want to do it during the week, it's got to be between X hour and X hour. And so trying to make that work sometimes is very, very tough. So that is reason number one why. Reason number two, and quite frankly, probably the biggest reason, is that we're running out of people. Okay, we're running out of people. We put in so much work this time last off season. We've gotten the majority of the football team. I'm still waiting on the new roster to come out. We'll try to do some research, reach out to some of those guys, and then obviously, I know that there's other sports out. We tried to get in on basketball this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. Our videographer Landon and I, we really did try, but again, it just with work, it really was tough for us. Um, and then I know right now there's softball and baseball going on. It's tough to talk to athletes during the season because their time is just so limited between school practice and games and recovery and rest. So a lot of those come after the season. I know I did tease one on the wrestling front. I'm still working on that. To be honest with you, I just didn't feel like doing much this weekend. I kind of wanted to take it easy. So we'll try to get that scheduled for this coming weekend. So again, that's just another. But that's also fantastic because that means players and coaches are interested in the podcast. They like the podcast and they want to come on and be a part of it. Again, not possible without you all support. So those are the two main reasons why content has been lacking. However, that doesn't mean that we at the Tro Show haven't been trying to expand ideas, brainstorm, make some moves. So I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago before the Coach Skelenar one-on-one, I posted a picture here. I've added a second monitor. You can't really see it because the camera's on top of said monitor. But I've added a second monitor here. Um, just because it makes editing and recording a whole lot easier. Beforehand, I was limited to my laptop screen. It made it very, very not tough, but definitely more time consuming. As to where now with the second screen, I'm kind of able to edit something while something else is uploading, that I can't leave the page, or it takes the full screen while it's uh exporting or loading. So it just gives me more freedom to edit and expedite the upload process. So that's something that's been really big and really good help. So as a result, we've been testing out. I'm testing out different setups here. I got to move the mic and everything else. A lot of behind the scenes mumbo jumbo, but just know that that should definitely pay dividends come the season. Now I did also we did test. Well, actually, before that, uh, I have also, on a personal note here, which is another reason why I've been quiet the past handful of weeks. I was going through the interview process at work for my destination, my dream position, you could say. Within Paycom, it was a very rigorous, like 3-4 step interview process. I'm glad to say I was able to get the position. I'm thrilled. I start that at the end of this month. I just cannot wait. But along with that, should help me not be as mentally fatigued after work, which would then allow me to create content during the week. If you saw my post on Twitter the other day, I was made an appearance on my man James D. Jackson's podcast. For those that don't know James, the outro song on every video, he is the one that made that. He is a fellow UCO grad as well. He is a high school sports reporter for the Oklahoman. He has his own podcast. I'll leave a link below in the description, where he talks baseball, pretty much MLB, NBA, and NFL. I made an appearance on there. I think I will be a routine guest of his. So again, that's just something else as well. So I couldn't be able to do that if I was mentally shot. So the fact that that's not the case, moving forward will definitely help. So that hopefully will also help more content, as well as it might be slow at first because I'll be going back. I think during training for is it from 8 to 5? Right now, I have a 7 to 4 shift. It is glorious. But just know once I finish training, I'll try to get back on the 7 to 4 shift. That'll also help out too, because that just gives me more time in the evening to get the interviews in and be able to edit and be able to upload. As for beforehand, in the rare case I wasn't mentally drained, I'd be able to record, but then I have to wait the next day to edit because it would be so late in the evening. So just know that those are things that will help the podcast moving forward, hopefully get more consistency. Another thing too on the spring preview, I appreciate the obviously it's over 100 views. I got some comments, some feedback. So what I've deduced is you all would definitely like to see that format more, starting with the weekly episodes when the season hits. I have no problem with that, because I can just easily record it. And what I'm thinking about doing with that is throwing in highlights as well. So in the past, it's been a Spotify only exclusive, and when we get to the recap, now that we're going to be doing it in this type of format like we did for spring, I can show the highlights during the weekend. And maybe asking yourself, okay, so does that mean that there's going to be no more straight highlight videos and show podcast player of the week? No, those will stay because it will be. I mean, I'll have the footage, so it would just be putting that footage together in the same order. So it'll be straight highlights. Like when we like when I give the recap, it's not like as if every major play I touch on in detail, right? So it's like the big ones. So it might be like, I don't know, say Steph has a nice 10-yard run followed by 50-yard touchdown. Well, when we talk on the podcast, I'm going to be saying, Steph had a nice, excuse me, a nice 10-yard run, really escaped the pressure there and got the first down. But it was the next play where he hit a streaking Jacob Delson for 50-yard touchdown. I would show that highlight as opposed to the 10-yard run highlight if it wasn't Steph breaking ankles like he did against on that run against Pitt State. But both highlights would then be in the highlight video if that's making sense. So you will get the highlights still the same way. You will still have the Show Some Podcast Player of the Week. My goal for that, but again, it's very tough. Ideally, I would like to be able to talk to those guys. However, now there is a chance if I figure out, like, if it's brutally obvious who it is during the course of the game, and then I'm able to catch up with them post game, then I could make something work with that. So just know I'm going to try to get said player of the week, like some kind of soundbite, get them on somehow. But again, it's tough during the season. So it's the same with coaches too, because I know it's been brought to my attention, and I would love to kind of do like a weekly coaches show of and some aspect. Might not have to be Coach Doro, but you know, um, one of the coaches, I would ideally enjoy that. Maybe that's something that I look into as the off season progresses. But again, that's gonna be more of I have to have like consistent set date that I'm able to do it 9 times out of 10 and same with them. So that's something I can explore later on down the road. I just know that I've heard that feedback. I would love to do that. It's just the stars kind of have to align for that to happen. But just know that that's also something that is in great consideration as well. Also going to try make more of an effort to video record the post game. Now it's easier with players because I can just ask and they do it. But when I most of the time when I caught up with Coach Doral last year, it was just on the field while also trying to get the players. So at that point, I just record the audio. Um, I think what will happen with that, because I don't know how I'm necessarily going to incorporate that yet into the video episode, because you on Spotify usually play it at the very end of the episode. I think what we might do is then on the maybe on the highlight video. And again, if you have any suggestions on how you want this um presented to you or over here on the channel, maybe I use that when we do the highlights as well. And then once coach and whoever we have post game from, once that audio ends, I just bring in the commentary audio. Because I'm not entirely sure, unless you just want me to just post the audio with just a still image for however long said person is talking, which if that's what you all want, I can do that. I'm just open to suggestions on how best to present that to you in a way that you would like. Because obviously, if I'm doing the full episodes just like I would with Spotify, then that has to be in there. So any feedback on that is definitely appreciated. Also from another, so we touched on that. We touched on the hot videos are not going anywhere. The Player of the Week is not going anywhere. I want to get back to streaming. I know we did. I did some test streams many moons ago now. At some point, it was extremely dull. So I just, I, I was, for the most part, I didn't really have much content. It was more of just making sure I could stream, that I could stream for a period of time and it hold up, that kind of stuff. Now, what I want to do with that, how I want to bring that back, I'm envisioning, and I know I teased this at the end of last season, is was doing a live episode of the show. So I'm thinking, I know I said at the end of the spring preview, we're gonna do it like we did last year, where I brought Dante on, maybe in the middle of spring, and we kind of got a spring update. Okay, I'm thinking we test this out. We test this out with that spring update, because it'd be a good way to just see if it works. Because there's nothing like hard hitting at that point. It's not like, I'd rather we use that as the guinea pig. Maybe it doesn't come out as we hope, but then we can I kind of evaluate that, figure out what worked, what didn't work, to fix that. I'd rather we do that now. Then when we get, then ideally what I would like to do is get more of a one-on-one, like we had with Hunter Larson, like we had with Skeleton, like we had with Jacob Delso, right? And do one of those live. But I don't want to do that yet until I've at least had one go around, see how things work. Because those one on ones, just again, those guys' time, the athletes' time is very precious. So when they do give it to me, I want to make the most of it and not by using them as a guinea pig when I'm trying to tell their story, trying to tell their journey from before UCO and their UCO journey as well. With the spring update, it's more of a Q&A type thing. not necessarily whenever you call a one-on-one, right? It's not that it's kind of more of just a, hey, how are things going? How's your position looking? Um, what stuck out to you the most? And I think that could greatly benefit from a live stream because then you all could ask questions. So I'm thinking that's how I want to bring the live stream back. So that's something I will look into come a few weeks. I'll reach out to some guys. You can also let me know in the comment section which guys we've interviewed previously you would like to see on, if at all possible. So I can then kind of formulate a list there and then kind of reach out and see who's available. And if we can get more than one on, we'll definitely try to get more than one on. But I do want to do that because I think that'd be a good way to have interaction. Always looking for more interaction here, and it'd be a good way for them to know that that there's obviously they know there's fans, right? Like they see fans in the stadium, all that stuff. But it'd be a good way for them to interact with the fans as well. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. It's what I want to do for the spring update. So again, any players you would like to be on that episode, again, just leave them below, or you can contact me. Again, my contact info is below the official Choso Gmail. Also, you can DM me on Twitter as well. I respond to almost all DMs. So, and I think that might be it from a content perspective. I had debated, now again, way back many more moons ago, right? We had the short-lived UCO Blazers series. Yeah, that it was. Because I'm big into NCAA football gaming. If you listen to the Jacob Delso and the Danny Armstead and the Carson Trimble episode, we had in-depth discussions on our shared love of NCAA 14. Again, when I started the channel, it was supposed to be a gaming channel, and as a matter of fact, the first video ever on this channel, which I have since privated, was a teaser for a UCO Dynasty on NCAA 14. Now, I still play the games, but the only game that I play in my leisure. I'm not opposed to bringing it back. I just know it wasn't really a thing. Like it didn't catch on, which is fine. I understand. I mean, you're here for real life stuff. But if there is that little niche audience that actually did kind of enjoy it, um, I still have a team builder. I still have it. I haven't used them yet. I mean, maybe that's something we could also explore. I'm thinking that's gonna be more of like an off season thing. So like, after spring, right after May, when players graduate, they go home, right? It's going to be kind of that lull period. Like, yeah, we can get some one-on-ones in, but maybe that's something as well. I don't know. I got to figure out if I could stream that. I should be able to. I mean, I have a capture card. I have OBS, but maybe that's something as well. Turn it into like a streaming series. I don't know. We can, I don't know, maybe say every Wednesday from 7 and 9. We play some NCAA, stream, chat. I'm open to kind of anything there. That's just something because I did kind of like abruptly end that series, and I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of views, but there was still some views. So for those people, like if there's any preference, whatever you want on that, again, I can always play it to myself. But I figured if I'm a use UCO in a dynasty, it's a UCO channel, maybe you'd be interested in it. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily just whatever you want on that is what we can do. So content wise, that's what you can kind of expect moving forward. Um, I did last year. I thought about it and then pulled the plug on it. So because for one, I don't know if it would get taken down due to copyright, but obviously I have the season pass, and so I'm able to get the highlights for the games. Now I thought about doing how in the dog days was summer, right? Valley Sports Oklahoma might replay OU versus Texas Tech in the middle of July, right? Just for just to scratch that itch. So I'm just thinking maybe something along the lines of like full game. I just delete the commercial breaks. Now again, I don't know if I would get a copyright strike for that. Now so far I haven't. when I've utilized the when I've done that highlight videos, but it also hasn't been a full game. And I also want to know, would you all be interested in watching said full game? Um, because I mean, if that's something easy for me to do. I just gotta go and record the game and then cut out the commercials and then export and upload it. So it wouldn't be like this whole detailed, laborious process for me. But um, that's something I considered last year and then just ultimately did not do. So if that's something that would you be interested in, maybe we do that once a week, starting in June, something like that, right? Because that we do one game a week, that would pretty much get us through several months. And I don't know if you want to see every game. Like I'm not too keen on rewatching the Missouri Western game or rewatching the Pitt State game. But if that's something that we want, or just even the wins, right? Even if we show the Lincolns, the Emporia, Northwest, right? Like if you want to at least see the wins, that's at least 6 weeks worth of content right there. If we do one a week, so again, any feedback in that area as well, as long as I don't get a copyright strike for it, I'm down with it. I think that's about all I have content wise about what I'm thinking, what you can for sure expect, what's a possibility. So again, if if any of that is interesting you got any feedback, you have any ideas, again, please not hesitate to leave a comment or reach out. Again, the information is in the description of this video. Now I know this is finally here. I want to wrap up with something. It's been requested for a few years now. That is merch. Okay, now I've been saying I need to look into it. I need to look into it. I need to look into it. I have actually finally looked into it. I'm in the process now of trying to get some, I don't know what to call them, mock-ups, but like some concrete prototype, whatever you want to call it, I'm probably not the right term, of some merch. Okay, so I am working with somebody to try to get some merch. Okay, so what I'm thinking for merch in terms of offerings, I get asked a lot about my hat. So obviously there will be hats, and I'm thinking at this point there will be hats, shirts, maybe a hoodie. Okay, I'm thinking, but for sure hats and shirts. You can definitely expect that. Maybe a hoodie, depending on the cost, for me to make it. So the ones that becomes more of a concrete thing, I'll put out more details when that time comes. But just know that that is in the works. I'm actually talking to somebody about that, trying to make that happen. So just know, hopefully, we will have that. My goal is to have the merch before the start of the season. Okay, that'd be the goal. Now I know you're saying that's great, but what about prices? Obviously, I'm not gonna try to beat you all over the head with it. Okay, like it would be something affordable. That's something that I'm working with the guy with. Just know it's not gonna be anything uber expensive. Like I'm not gonna break the bank. I mean, I'm no. So so just know that it will be affordable. But they just I'll have more information on that when the time comes. But I think that's all I really wanted to cover in the channel update. Again, I just greatly appreciate all the support here, getting the triple digit subs. Just means the world to me. We've come a long way in 1 year's time, and we still have a long way to go. I think there's still a lot of tread on these tires, and I think I think here's the thing, because if we're getting this in the off season when it's slow, right? Like if this happened during the season, it's still a big deal. But I think it wouldn't have been as shocking because I think I don't remember if we were at 90 something when the season ended. I don't, but I know for a fact that we were not close to 100 when the season ended. So the fact that between the time the season ended until now, we've gotten to the triple digits. Again, it just wows me each and every time. So just know I'm still attack it just like it's day one. I have 0 subs. I have earned nothing. I'm still attack it with that same tenacity, that same hunger. To bring you all quality content, because at the end of the day, that's what you're here for. You're here for quality content. You're here to hear the stories of the men and women that you watch on the field, on the hardwood, on the diamond. So I'm gonna keep doing that until the wheels fall off. But again, just if you have any feedback, you like anything that you heard today, again, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. I will always respond to it in some way, whether it's a comment back, if it's a like, if you send me an email, I'll usually respond back to it if I see it. Same with the DMs. And I was speaking of DMs too. I also appreciate those that did not unfollow your boy when he was hacked. Don't know what that was. I was watching some XFL football, and all of a sudden my inbox is blowing up, and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" And it turns out I was hacked. I know Steph was also hacked. So I appreciate the patience through that. I appreciate those that did just jump the gun and unfollow me, because that really could have been bad for us. But crisis was indeed avoided. So, again, I don't know. We should hopefully we'll be back next week with the one-on-one. Like I said, I want to reach back out to the wrestler, try to get that scheduled, and then from there we will look to secure a player for a spring update here in the coming weeks. Again, I will hope to be able to live stream that as well. So just follow me on Twitter. I will post updates there like I have. And there's events of content changes like there was last week. Just on like quick happenings to keep you all in the know. And then there will be probably before the season starts, maybe mid-September, not September, mid-August, there'll probably be another channel update, kind of just solidifying things, following up on some of the ideas that was presented here. So you all have a concrete picture, concrete image of what this season is going to look like. Should be a very exciting season of UCO football. Like I said, I'm really hoping now with this new position that I'm going to at work and I'm going to vastly enjoy doing. Should be less mentally taxing. Should be able to then kind of get some more content out during the week. Because I just don't like recording or interviewing if I'm not at my best, because I feel like that's a disservice and it's shortchanging the interview the interview subject that I want them to have the best experience possible. And so I feel like it would be unfair if I came to it less mentally ready than I did the person before. So I always try to keep that consistency there. So that's also another reason why, again, it has been slow. But hopefully now moving forward here in the coming weeks, should oh, that should not be a problem. Again, I will also be on my man James E. Jackson's podcast, Rip Jersey. That information will also be posted below. I went on there last week, talked some Dallas Mavericks, talked some NBA basketball. Had a really good time. So again, he's also a fellow Cho, so feel free. By all means, James does great work over there too. And he told me he was going to be in some games this year. We start winning. I'm gonna hold him to that. But so that's kind of what you can expect here moving forward. Again, I appreciate all the support, all the love. Again, if you ever see me around campus, after the game, before the game, again, not hesitate, come up and talk to them. Always happy to talk to, meet fans. Thank you personally for it. So you ever see me, just do not hesitate. I will try to make at least one or two spring practices. I have been requested by a few players already asking me when I'm coming to said spring practice. I think it's every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 3:30. And then the spring game is April 28th, a Friday at 7. Again, knocking on wood that the weather holds up for that. I will definitely be there if that is indeed the case. Just that that is a thing. So that's kind of all I have. So again, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the love. We're not stopping. It's only up from here. Again, please leave any feedback, ideas, comments you have below, or contact me directly, whatever you so choose. So until next time, my name is Jonathan Goodo, aka JG Smooth. I'll talk to you all later.